Quarterfinals began last night. And remember when you guys were all high on Dallas and they were going to do all of the things and take over the league? That didn't happen. The Thunder advanced to the NBA Cup semis, 118-104, 31 threes in the first half. They finished with 50 attempts, Oklahoma City did. SGA finished with 39-8, 5 assists. Jalen Williams, 18-7-4. Luka, and this is where it's going to get interesting, had 16 points, 2 entering this fourth quarter. Kyrie finished with 17. This is the first time this season in which both these guys were held to under 20 points. This is a crazy game to watch, and we'll get into body language and all the other things. Depth has been a topic that's been talked about, either lack of or too much over and over again as far as the NBA is concerned. But the Thunder, we talk about Houston being deep. What's going on here? Yeah,
it's crazy. We always talk about Houston. We talk about Golden State because those teams do have a lot of depth. But when you look at this Oklahoma City Thunder team, they are so deep. They all know their roles, and they just fit in. They know this is SGA's team. They know Jalen. Then it goes Jalen Williams. It goes Chet Holmgren. Like, there's a pecking order, and everyone falls in line. Everyone defends. Watching this game last night, I think this more had to do just with the intensity and the game plan that to beat the Dallas Mavericks, Coach Dagnall said, you know what, Lou Dort, just hound Luka Doncic all game long, completely take him out of the game, be as physical as possible when he has the ball, before he gets the ball. We'll live with Kyrie Irving one-on-one because guess what? We have Alex Caruso, we have Cason Wallace to guard him one-on-one to give him problems with their length. And we'll live with the Najee Marshalls making shots, the Grimes. Klay Thompson hit some threes last night. But they showed basically the format to beat the Dallas Mavericks last night. And a lot of it, obviously, is how good SGA is and how bananas he went down the stretch and how good he is offensively. But Lou Dort, to me, was the takeaway from this game. His tenacity, his defensive energy, his physicality against Luka, completely eliminated. I've never seen Luka just look so dejected in the first 2 points, in the 1 for 7 in the first half in a big game like this. It just, I think it more speaks volumes on Lou Dort's job he did on last night and just the format and the game plan that Coach Dagnall provided them.
Body language was bad, Lou.
Yeah, it didn't look great for Dallas, but you know, you give OKC credit. You know, I wasn't in love with the fact that they shot 31 threes in the first half. You know, I prefer them, as young as that team is, to put more and more pressure on the rim. But it worked for them last night. You know, they made themselves a clear favorite coming out of the Western Conference, and just the way they play basketball. You know, they got a lot of like-sized guys that can do a lot of the same things, but for whatever reason, they don't clash. Like, this is a group that everybody seems like they play the same style of like basketball, where you have a lot of 3-and-D guys. You have a lot of guys that do the same amount of things, but they all play hard, and they all give themselves an opportunity to win basketball games, and that's what you got to love about the OKC Thunder.
And what's crazy, Lou, is watching this game, the Mavs were only down 3 points in the first half with the Luka struggles. So I do think the Thunder got a little trigger happy with the threes. And I love, again, the Lou Dort, like, they matched his minutes with Luka. As you saw Luka run to the scores table, Lou Dort was right behind him. So I so love that. Yeah, he was just a pest all night long. And their defense just, it thrives their offense. They get these stops, they get out in transition, they cause these turnovers, and then they're so good offensively. They share the ball, they get a bunch of paint touches. If I have a good shot and Jalen Williams has a better shot, I'm giving it up to him. Then you have Hartenstein now providing some size and rebounding on the glass. Like, they truly have it all, and it starts with their defensive pressure and what they do. They eliminated Luka Doncic last night, which many have tried and few have succeeded, and all that is Lou Dort.
There was a moment last night during this game where I was watching the refs. I think Jenna Schroeder was one of the refs last night, and I found myself just watching them because of the threes, and it was just back and forth, and it was actually mesmerizing and kind of frustrating. I'm not going to lie, and I don't want to turn into one of those people that's like, stop shooting threes, but there was a moment last night, Lou, where I thought, Charles Barkley called the Thunder the clear favorite to win the West by far. It's the by far we're looking at right now, Lou. What do you think?
You know what? I got to agree with him, you know, because you look at the teams that are right there behind them, second and third place, Memphis and Houston, they just lack that consistency that you want to see, right? They don't have enough of a winning pedigree to say, you know what, these teams can challenge Oklahoma City in a Western Conference Finals to get to the finals, or in a deep playoff run. They're by far one of the better teams in the West, and that's because of the consistency. You know, the way that they play the game, the way that they go about it, even the camaraderie. You look at how much these guys love playing with each other, and They do the interviews together and all of that stuff. That translates into winning basketball games because, even when they're not smiling and they're not laughing, because of their camaraderie, that allows you the opportunity to have tough conversations or to get on each other, hold each other accountable in tough moments. And that's going to give them the edge in the long run. Just the relationships that they've built on and off this basketball court to give them, peace of mind of, if I need to say something to SGA, he won't take this personally. If I need to tell Lou Dort I need him to guard full court, he won't sniff his nose at me and say, yeah, right, and back up on defense. He's going to actually move forward. That's what allows this team to be one of the better teams in the Western Conference. So I got to agree with Charles in that one.
Yeah, I'll say when I look at the Western Conference, to me, I kind of have them categorized, and there's two surprise teams for me.
You got tiers?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, fair enough.
The surprise teams are the Grizzlies and the Houston Rockets.
Okay.
I think those are both teams that they've been healthy, they've been consistent. You can see by the standings, they have been winning ball games, but not a lot of people expected that. And there's kind of the underwhelming teams like the Nuggets and the Wolves, where they kind of look like they took a step back. There was high expectations. They really haven't found their rhythm yet. They've had some inconsistencies. Then there's teams that are the Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors that are solid, but we all know they're not really contenders, you know what I mean? So the two mystery teams to me are, to give the Thunder the biggest challenge, are the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. And after a game like last night, it's hard not to agree with Chuck just because they're so dominant. They play both sides of the ball. They're deep. They have an absolute stud. The Mavs played good defense last night on like 40% of these possessions, and they still just hit crazy tough shots. Like it is unbelievable what they do. So when I've always looked at the East and the West this year, and the East is so much worse, I don't know. I think they might be a more of a favorite than the Celtics are in the East now with the Cavs and with the way the Knicks are playing. I think the Thunder are the most dominant team by far, which has flipped for me within a month.
Look at that. The cup bringing out the best.
It's crazy.
KC. We do need to talk about Luka, though, and focus here, because Lou, he had 2 points entering the fourth, like we said. A season-low 15 shot attempts. Former NBA champ point guard Quinn Cook had a couple tweets. They've been erased since, but that doesn't